Welcome, it's Denzo here, and today we'll show you this paper effect. I created this effect in After Effects and made project file free to use, but it goes without textures. You can add yours or use it as it is. But if you want full project file with textures, you can buy my Paper Texture Pack, and besides pack you'll get After Effects and Premiere Pro project files with textures. As a bonus, use discount code at checkout. Now let's move to After Effects. Here's my paper transition setup, so let's break it down step by step. I will start with transition 1. In transitions I always pre-comp videos, so here I have video holder 1, where I store my video for transition. I have 2 copies of it for top and bottom parts. Next I've added ripped paper textures from my Paper Texture Pack. I place them so they are aligned by the rip line and cover most of screen space. Now let's use these textures as alpha matte layers for video holders. I made textures visible and applied screen blending mode. Also, I added freeze frames for videos at first frame. Now let's move things. First goes ripping part animation. For this I've used 2 null objects for top and bottom parts. Let's add keyframes to them. Here I've animated rotation, scale and position with separate dimension for X and Y. You can use your values for different ending position, but main thing lies in graph editor. As you can see, I've used extreme animation curves. I've made them this way. Let's return keyframes to basic curves, pick last keyframes, grab handles and move them all the way left, while holding Shift. This will prevent from unnecessary vertical movement. Now pick first keyframe individually for each parameter, and adjust handles like this, one by one. I've parented both texture and video holder with null object. Repeat similar process for second null object. Ripping part animation is ready. Now let's animate fading part. For this I will use 2 more null objects. I place them at the center of each part. Parent our first nulls, 2 new ones, and let's animate them. Here I use only X position and rotation with these values, but you can adjust them later as you like. This time in Graph Editor I can choose all the keyframes from both null objects and drag handles in one step like this. So now main animation is ready. In main comp I've added flash effect for more powerful impact. I've used simple brightness and contrast effect with these values. Next I've added blur for second video. Blur animation starts when paper parts start to move away, so this way we have more focus on them. Also, I've used posterize effect to add more vibe. Second video is intermediate between transitions, so I decided to add texture overlay animation. For this I've created new comp and placed sequence of textures 2 frames long each. Each texture has 3 layers with different blending modes. So to apply them properly I checked on collapse transformation option on texture pre-comp layer. Animated overlay is ready. Now let's move to second transition. Here I have pre-comp for video as well, video holder 2. I will use it with left part comp and right part comp as alpha matte layers. Also I use pre-comp of isolated paper rip element as overlay. So right part comp has just this paper rip element with masked out solid layer. Left part also has the same solid layer but with subtracted mask to get inverted look. So base setup looks like this with left part, right part and paper rip element. Now we can animate parts. Add 2 null objects at the bottom of screen and parent all left part layers to one null and all right part layers to second one. Here I also animate separated X and Y positions, scale and rotation. For keyframes I've used following values. In Graph Editor I've made such curves. As you can see they are not that extreme, but you can play with handles to see which results you can get. For final touch I've added blur for second video like I did previously. So our paper rip transitions for Reels are ready.